What would you do if the only woman who made you feel alive again already belonged to a powerful village chief? Before we continue, I need to appreciate everyone who stayed from part 1, part 2, and part 3. You didn't just watch, you followed the story. But if this is your first time here, you're already late. Go back, start from part 1, because what you're about to see will not make sense without it. Now listen carefully, get your popcorn ready. Sit down, don't skip, because part 4 is where choices are made, hearts are broken, and war finally begins. The next morning, the whole village was buzzing with gossip. Mama Adi's son, the big man from Lagos, was seen at the stream with Grace Okafor. He carried her water. He held her hands. People saw them talking closely. By afternoon, the news reached Chief Okonkwo. He was furious. "Who does this Lagos boy think he is?" the chief shouted in his compound. "Grace is mine. I paid her bride price already." His oldest wife tried to calm him. "Maybe it is just village talk. You know how people exaggerate. I will go to her father's house myself," Chief Okonkwo said, his face red with anger. "That girl belongs to me now." Meanwhile, Damien sat with his mother, drinking morning tea. He looked calm, but his mind was working fast. "You are really going to do this?" Mama Adiz asked. "Fight a village chief for a girl?" "I'm not fighting anyone, Mama. I'm just making sure Grace has a choice. No woman should be forced to marry a man she does not want. Chief Okonkwo will not see it that way, and her father already took his money." "Then I will return the money to the chief myself," Damien said firmly. Before his mother could respond, loud voices came from outside. Chief Okonkwo had arrived with 5 of his men. "Where is this Lagos boy?" the chief shouted. "Where is Mama Adi's son?" Damien walked out calmly. He was taller than the chief and much younger. His expensive watch caught the sunlight. Everything about him screamed power and money. "I am here. How can I help you, Chief?" Damien's voice was respectful but firm. "You." Chief Okonkwo pointed a thick finger at him. "You are trying to take my wife. I pay good money for that girl. She is mine. Grace is not property to be bought," Damien said calmly. "She is a human being with her own mind. This is village business. You Lagos people come here and think you can change our ways." Grace's father accepted my offer. The marriage is final. A crowd was gathering now. People came out of their compounds to watch the confrontation. This was the most exciting thing that had happened in the village in months. Grace heard the commotion and came running with her mother. When she saw Chief Okonkwo confronting Damien, fear gripped her heart. "Grace," the chief shouted when he saw her. "Come here. Tell this man that you are my betrothed." Grace stood frozen. Her mother grabbed her arm. "Do not make trouble, Grace. The chief is paid. This is already decided." But Grace looked at Damien. He stood there calm and strong, facing the angry chief without fear. In that moment, she knew what she had to do. "I do not want to marry you, Chief," Grace said loudly. Her voice shook, but she forced the words out. "I am sorry, but I cannot." Gasps rose from the crowd. A girl refusing a chief? This was unheard of. Chief Okonkwo's face turned purple with rage. "You refuse me? Me? After I paid good money? I will return your money," Damien said, stepping forward. "Every kobo, plus extra for your trouble. But Grace will not marry you. And who are you to speak for her?" Chief Okonkwo spat. "Are you her father? Her husband?" "Not yet," Damien said, and the crowd gasped again. "But I intend to be." The whole village went silent. Grace's heart nearly stopped. Did he just say what she thought he said? Chief Okonkwo laughed, a cruel sound. "You? Marry a village girl? A man like you?" He turned to the crowd. "He is lying. He will use her and throw her away like trash. That is what rich men do." "I do not lie," Damien said coldly. "And I do not throw people away." Grace's father finally appeared, pushing through the crowd. He looked angry and confused. "What is happening here?" "Grace, get inside now." "Papa, please," Grace begged. "I cannot marry the chief. Please do not make me." "The agreement is made," her father shouted. "Do you want to bring shame on this family?" "I will pay you double what the chief offered," Damien said to Grace's father. "Your daughter should marry someone she chooses, not someone forced on her." Grace's father looked at Damien with suspicion. "And you think she should choose you?" A man who will take her to Lagos and forget about her when he gets bored. I'm not that kind of man, Damien said. Ask anyone in this village who knows my family. Ask my mother. The Coles do not break their word. Mama Dee stepped forward. My son speaks the truth. If he says he will marry the girl, he will marry her. The crowd murmured. This was better than any Nollywood film. Chief Okonkwo was shaking with rage. You will regret this, all of you. He pointed at Grace. That girl will bring you nothing but trouble. Then he looked at Damien. And you, Lagos boy, you will learn that village girls and city men do not mix. She will embarrass you in front of your rich friends. Mark my words. The chief stormed off with his men, leaving chaos behind. Grace's father looked torn. The money Damien offered was tempting. But was he making the right choice for his daughter? I need to think about this, he said finally. This is not a decision to make in the street with the whole village watching. He pointed at Grace. You inside? Now. Grace obeyed, but not before looking back at Damien one more time. Their eyes met, and she saw the determination there. He was not giving up. That evening, Damien's phone exploded with calls from Lagos. His business partners were getting impatient. There were deals that needed his signature. Meetings he had missed. His company was suffering from his absence. Sir, you need to come back, his assistant pleaded on the phone. The investors are threatening to pull out of the deal. They say if you're not serious about the business, neither are they. Damien rubbed his temples. His empire was worth billions. It had taken him years to build. But when he thought about leaving the village without Grace, his chest felt tight with panic. Give me 2 more days, Damien said. Sir, with respect, 2 days might be too late. The Chinese investors leave Nigeria on Monday. If you do not meet them, I said 2 days. Damien snapped and ended the call. He stood in the quiet village night, torn between 2 worlds. His business in Lagos represented everything he had worked for. But Grace represented something he thought he had lost forever. The ability to feel, to want, to live. Across the village, Grace lay on her mat, unable to sleep. Her father was discussing things with her mother in hushed, angry voices. She heard words like money, reputation, and foolish girl. Tomorrow her father would make his decision. Either she would be forced to marry Chief Okonkwo, or Damien would pay the bride price and she would go to Lagos with him. Both options terrified her, but only one made her heart race with hope instead of dread. She closed her eyes and prayed. God, I'm just a simple village girl. I do not know anything about Lagos or rich people's world. But if you brought Damien into my life for a reason, please make a way. Please. The next morning would bring answers. And those answers would change everything. If you enjoy this story, don't forget to follow this page, like, and share Folded Hands.